All right, we're live, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Fights Unwrapped. Alec Carr unfortunately cannot be with us this evening, but I have my co-host Dustin with me to the right of me. That's No Censor Sports for anyone who has Twitter. So before we jump into our headlines today, we're going to talk about our sponsors real quick. Let's go. Carlos Condit, I know you're retired and it's sad and I can't watch you fight anymore, but it's okay because we're a huge proponent of RxHemp.com. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code RxHemp-USN. That's right, RxHemp-USN to get 10% off your order today. And also, whoever's betting on this weekend's fights, you should use my bookie because if you use promo code USN100, you get 100% sign up bonus. That's right, 100% sign up bonus. And thank you, Perry Aston, for the shout out. We appreciate it.
Perry?
What's up, Perry? That's right. All right, so back to our headlines. We'll start with the most obvious one. It's really simple. Wonder Boy wants to do the whole NMF versus BMF fight again because it's been a long time and now he's calling out Masvidal. What do you think, Dustin? Do you think this is a really good call out, or do you think that Wonder Boy should hold out for somebody, else in the top five?
I see this fight for Wonder Boy as like a get back on track fight.
Yeah.
More like he's like Masvidal's coming off a couple of bad losses, so I think he's trying to fight Masvidal to kind of get his run back and get some momentum. And honestly, it is a bad fight for Masvidal because Wonder Boy is long. He's a karate style. He's really technical, and it's a pretty bad matchup for Masvidal. Masvidal is more of a boxer, and it's a bad matchup. It's not good technicality wise for him because he's not a how do I say it? He's not textbook when it comes to striking.
Yeah.
He's got a big punch, and he likes to fight and he likes to get in there, but I don't think Wonder Boy is going to try to take him down. But I think Wonder Boy is going to be able to keep him away pretty easily and be able to win this fight pretty easily, in my opinion. I don't think he knocks him out, but I'm pretty sure he gets a 30-27 decision if they fight. But I understand why Wonder Boy did it. Waiting out for somebody in the top five, I mean, he's coming off a couple losses, so I don't know if he should. So,
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I don't think he's going to fight in the top five until he gets a little bit more momentum because a lot of these top five guys, man, they're soaring towards the title shot.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
Muhammad's soaring up there. You also have Cosmo. You have Gilbert still going there, and Gilbert already beat him.
Yeah.
You got a couple of fighters that are aspiring towards the title, and I don't think any of them are really interested in fight Wonder Boy right now. Probably until he gets strings together 2 or 3 wins. So either way,
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. Like, I think that you're right. This fight is totally a like get my shit together kind of fight. Like okay, we lost two. Now we got to get back on the winning side of things. So I think that's the fight. That's why he's calling out Masvidal. Do I want him to fight anyone else? I don't think so. I think like the division is really stacked, and like you said, there's a lot of people trying to go up and get those title fights. So definitely something to look forward to. Hopefully, we'll see if Dana gives him his wish, but we'll see about that. So we'll move on to someone else in the division. We got Gilbert Burns, and he has some words on Kobe Covington, basically saying that Kobe is ducking a lot of the contenders in the welterweight, which is true. And then like Alec brought this up actually, so it's too bad that he couldn't join us, but he pretty much brought this up. And like, what do you think, Dustin? What do you think about Gilbert Burns and what he has to say about Kobe Covington ducking contenders?
well, I don't know about ducking yet because first of all, he was obviously soaring towards trying to get the rematch with Usman. So he's not gonna take a fight with that's gonna be detrimental to him getting his title shot.
Mm.
So I don't know if he's ducking yet. I mean, right after he beat Tyron Woodley, I mean, he was waiting for that title shot again, and he didn't just beat Tyron Woodley, man. He dominated him. So, and then he dominated, Jorge, which Jorge, that fight had to happen. It was the most entertaining one. It's one everybody wanted to see. Let's be
Mm.
real. Like Jorge, everybody wanted to see him. And Jorge just fought for a title. And so I don't know if he's ducking yet. Now, bless you.
Thank you.
Now, if he starts ducking talent now, that's when I would say he's going to be ducking because
Yeah.
he just beat Jorge, and no one cares that you just beat Jorge. To get back to Usman, he's gonna have to fight, guys like Gilbert. He's gonna have to fight guys like Cosmo. He's gonna have to go against some pretty strong competitors. So, and just Bilal Muhammad. Muhammad's another one. Muhammad, that's a very realistic fight for Colby.
Yeah.
And it's here's the problem with me saying he's ducking. I don't know if he's ducking yet. We're about to see though, because he's
Mm.
coming up on that situation if he tries to duck. Because if he tries to go after some bum fight, he's trying to go after Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, Colby's not out for it's just like Connor. He's not out for all this crap where it's like, I want to be everybody's people's champion. I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah.
And he wants the fights that are entertaining. He wants the fights that are gonna get him paid. That's what Colby wants at this stage in his career. And unfortunately, he might pass up some 170 guys to get to Dustin Poirier or drop down and do this and do that. Because in my opinion, Colby Covington is the contender. He
Mm.
is the contender. He went 5 rounds with Usman, and it was actually a pretty tough fight. Usman didn't just walk through that. That was tough. And it's to a point where everybody keeps saying he's ducking, and I'm not. It's not yet. I don't think he's
Mm.
ducking yet. Do I think he should fight more guys at 170? Absolutely. But I just know his MO, and I think he wants the money fights, and he just wants whatever's going to further his bank account, where he can talk
Mm.
shit, entertain, and it is what it is. I mean, people can call it ducking, but he's out here just trying to get that money. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, at the same time, like when he called out Dustin Poirier, I was just like, yeah, no, he wants the money fight. So like, cause this makes no sense whatsoever. Obviously I thought
Because
he wanted,
Dustin
yeah.
Poirier had a similar rivalry with him as Masvidal,
Hmm.
so he wants to pretty much clear out American Top Team. He was like, you guys
Yeah.
been talking a lot of shit. And he was like, now it's time to bring it forth. Like, fight me in the octagon. We'll see. Basically, the way I see it.
Yeah, you could be right. You could definitely he has maybe a vendetta against them. You never know, right? Because they were like kicking him out of the gym and stuff like that. So if anyone knows anything about that history, there's a little bit of context for you. But let's move on to our next headline, which is basically Patricio Pitbull has some comments about the future of MMA. So, Dustin, I know you brought this up. So, did you want to just say a little bit about what was said in the comments about like cross promotion not being a thing in the future because of Dana White and the UFC?
Let me hear yours first. I'm actually interested in what you're gonna say because I know you're a fan of MMA across the board. You're not just
Yes.
you're not UFC fan. So I want to kind of hear your comments.
No, I obviously think like because I feel like some champions are at that point where they fought everybody in the division. Not all champions, but some champion divisions are like that. And I feel like the other contenders that like they haven't faced are from other promotions. So obviously the next step would be cross promotion in terms of a tournament. Obviously for the UFC it's probably not as beneficial, but for everybody in MMA, for like MMA fans, it's huge, right? So that's like my comments on that so far. Like I'm a huge fan of it, but I know for like a business standpoint, it's not like the most feasible or the most likable option for the UFC. So
If I was gonna add my comments, it'd be
mm,
first of all, I'm a huge fan of cross promotion. Huge fan of it. There's no reason why some of the Bellator's champs can't fight UFC champs. I don't see why not. The biggest reason that I think that Dana won't do it is simply because UFC has a stigma around it that it
mm,
has all the top fighters. It has all the top fighters, and they're unbeatable. No other champion, any other promotion can beat them. which I think is kind of candidly hilarious because a lot of the champions in the UFC were coming over from WSOF. They
Mm,
were coming from some of them. Some of the top guys are from Bellator. There's champions from Bellator
yeah.
in the UFC. I mean, it's detrimental to the UFC's marketing ability and how it attracts young fighters to let its champions go out and potentially get beat. Because if that happens, these other fighters are going to be like, "Are you sure you're the best? Are you sure?" And here's my other thing about it is Dana's not going to do it. I know he's not going to do it. I don't think he has. I don't think he has the gut. And people are saying that I remember Alec in the chats. He just said he doesn't own the UFC. Well, I mean, he's always been the president of the UFC. There's always been owners. The Fertitta brothers own the
Mm,
UFC even when he was president. Now, did he have stake in the company? Absolutely, but he's not the majority owner. He's never been. The Fertitta brothers always owned the UFC, and then they sold it. So it's always been in someone else's hands, ownership wise and financially.
mm,
So another thing is, I think cross promotion would do a great for the sport in general. I think like a crossover with one would be great for MMA. I think a crossover with Bellator would be great for MMA. Bellator versus one would be great for MMA. PFL versus one or PFL versus Bellator. I have a few PFL champions that I think would do very well in the UFC
yeah.
personally, and they're never really going to get that chance because PFL is the ones really paying them. I mean, these champions are making $1 million off these title fights. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
$1 million. You think they're just going to switch over for chump change that Dana's going to try to offer them? Probably not.
No.
So therefore, like Kayla Harrison, you don't think she could compete with a lot of the UFC women? I'm gonna tell you right now, she can. She
Yeah.
would probably demolish 98% of them. I'm just gonna be real about it.
Mm,
And one championship was kind of delusional about the whole heavyweight thing. Because I'm gonna tell
yeah.
you right now, their heavyweight division is thin as ice, like thin as like ice that just got frozen. I could step on that thing; it's like a pond. I could literally just put my foot in it, and it would go through. It's not as thick as the UFC's, and I think the UFC as a whole is better than a lot of these promotions, just because they have more talent.
yeah.
But at the same time, picture how much the sport would grow even more if a lot of these organizations would put on these huge pay-per-views. And
I
yes,
know. Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Dana would be pretty much promoting his competition. Pretty much he'd be promoting his competition. I get that. But at the same time, dude, no one loses. No one loses. The sport's going to grow. The competition of the promotions are going to grow. Everyone's going to make money. I mean, I don't see why. The only reason I could see why UFC wouldn't do this is simply because we're trying to keep the mystique that we're the top notch dog and you can't get any better. And I think
Mm,
that's why they will never do it. And that's very unfortunate. As a fan, I'd love it, but unfortunately, they'll never do it. I'm just being real about it.
yeah. That's true. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right. So our last headline before we jump into our main card is talk about fan voting. So Dana just released this recently about fan voting for, I believe, a performance of the night or something like that, and then the what's called something about crypto being awarded to a winner or something like that. Dustin, did you wanted to explain that a little bit further?
Sure. So basically, they created crypto, actually created and brought it to the UFC, so they agreed on it. Basically, they're going to give a first, second, and third position. So basically, us fans are going to be on pay-per-views to vote on who we thought had the best performance. So basically, it's going to be one single fighter, and you're going to be voting for a certain fighter. So the top three are going to get varied crypto rewards. So basically, like being hypothetical, I don't know the exact number, but like first place gets 50 grand, second place gets 30, third place gets 10. That's basically how it would go.
Yeah,
And in my opinion, I don't even like the crypto part. I don't think it should
yeah,
be Bitcoin. I think it should be straight cash,
yeah.
if you
Me
just
too.
ask me.
Yeah,
And number two, I think fan voting should be across the board for pay per
hmm
views. Like KO the night should be fan voted. Submission of the night should be fan voted unless there's only one submission. That would make sense. Or unless there's one KO. Fight of the night should be voted on. It shouldn't be
Hmm.
decided by the UFC. If you're just asking me, it shouldn't be decided by the UFC. It should be decided by the fans watching. Or no, we're the ones that really judge that. We're the ones consuming the product.
Yeah.
So I believe fan voting should be across the board. I don't know if other people don't agree, but I think fan voting should play a way bigger role in the entire award system. So that's how I feel about it.
No, I agree. I definitely agree that fan voting should definitely be across the board. I mean, like we are the fans. We're the ones that make them have the money that they have today by buying their pay per views and going to their events, and we should be able to be voting for each one of them. But then they couldn't make like so many prizes. I guess you could say afterwards that's probably why they don't do it across the board, most likely.
Well, they can keep it like KO of the night, but like the
Yeah.
fan. So there's only one fighter gonna get it, but the
Yeah.
fans could vote, and that's how it's actually divvied out.
Oh,
Like not
okay.
like Dana White's like, oh, he gets KO of the night, oh, he gets sub of the night, or they get fight of the night. He shouldn't be the one saying that. It should be us. We
Yeah,
either,
for
I mean, to
sure.
be honest, if you ask me, we should be the ones actually saying who earned these rewards because it's really at the end of the day, we're the one consuming the product. We're the one they're trying to impress. So either way,
Hmm.
I think that's how it should go.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. All right, so we are going to go and talk about the UFC 273 main card. So excited. Really sad about the whole Kelvin Gastelum match being scrapped because we were talking about Kelvin Gastelum a little bit towards the end of the episode last week, unfortunately. So our first matchup will be Vic Pichelle versus Mark Madsen. Mark Madsen is 11-0, by the way. He's undefeated. Vince Pichelle, I believe, is coming off a win, if I'm not mistaken. And he is 14-2. So who do you think is going to win this fight? I personally think Mark Madsen. I mean, like, the guy's undefeated for a reason. And I think he's going to win against Vince Pichelle. I'm not really a huge Vince fan, so, that's what it is. Dustin, do you have any comments on this fight?
I'm not really a fan of either, so
Yeah.
I really couldn't say anything too vital about it. Um, I mean, I don't really know. This would have to be just the fight I watch. If it's important, I mean, I'm gonna watch it anyway because I'll be watching the whole event. I'll be watching the prelims. I'll be watching the main card. So I think that it'll. I guess I don't have too much information on these guys, man. I really can't tell you exactly who's gonna win. I'll default disagree with you, and
Yeah.
then we'll go from there. But I'm looking forward to watching the guys fight.
Yeah, I think, well, the only reason why this fight got pushed up to the main card was because the Calvin Gastelum fight got removed. So they had to put
Of
something in
course.
the main card, but they might change it. They might change this fight and they might push it to the prelims. You never know about that. But the next fight is one that will catch both our eyes because it's two of Dustin's favorite women going at it. We have the women's strawweight belt between Mackenzie Dern and Tiny Tisha Torres. So really exciting bout. I'm excited to see how well Dern can do striking wise because I know she's been trying to work on her striking for a long time. Of course, I'm really excited whenever she's on the ground with someone because that's just like her bread and butter. But I just think that Tisha is just super well rounded and like she will have the defense to withstand Mackenzie Dern. Just from experience alone, in my opinion. But I love the both of them. I don't really want any of them to lose. My heart's going with Tisha on this one. So, Dustin, do you have a winner between these two women?
The only thing I have with Mackenzie Dern is she's a lot bigger. I mean,
Yeah, she
she's
is.
a little bit longer. She's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit longer, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how Tisha's gonna deal with that length. So we'll see. I think Tisha obviously is a better striker. I'll give her
Yeah.
that. Do I think that Mackenzie Dern's gonna take her down? I don't know because when
Yeah.
you're a long person, you're going against a short person. Like short people have more of like a, how do I say it, center of gravity when
Yeah.
they're trying to take them down.
Yeah.
They can spread out. They can sprawl easier. I mean, they're a little bit more like stout. It's like it's harder to sometimes harder to take down shorter people.
Yeah.
But we'll see because I mean she's a big jiu-jitsu girl, so
Yeah.
she's not. I most likely would see her on her back.
Hmm.
I don't know if Tisha will take her down. I guarantee she probably won't.
I don't think so. Most likely not.
Um, I'm gonna have to go with Tisha Torres on this one because I think she's the better all around. I don't
Yeah.
think Lindsay Dern's gonna beat her in the stand up. So I don't think that Tisha's gonna get caught in a submission either.
Yeah, yeah. I just think her defense, like on the ground, is going to be really beneficial to her, and I think that her striking, everyone knows that she probably is the better striker, unless Dern hits her with a good shot. Like you never know. But Tisha Torres is tough as they come, So probably not going to knock her out, but we'll see. I'm really excited for this fight. Obviously, if anyone hasn't figured that out, and it's funny. The last three fights are the most exciting ones. Maybe not the last one, but maybe the last two fights are the most exciting fights because we have drumroll please. We got Gilbert Burns versus Cosmo Chimayo in a welterweight bout that we've been waiting for because we've been waiting for someone to say, has Chimaev faced someone substantial? And no one's more substantial in that division than Gilbert Burns right now. So that's the fight that we're talking about now. I love Gilbert Burns. I think he's come a long way striking wise as well because like everybody knew him as a jiu-jitsu guy for a long time, and then all of a sudden he like spruced up his striking game, so now he's a really great striker. But Chimaev is just all around so good, and his like I would love to see him wrestle Gilbert Burns. I don't think he will, only because I think that he knows that Gilbert Burns is really good on the ground. Right, so I feel like he's probably gonna most likely keep it standing up. Maybe a little bit of wrestling here and there, but probably not gonna try and like submit him. If he is, he's really brave to do so. But I can see like a takedown. I can see some ground and pound, but his like Shamaya's ground and pound and his like striking is good, but it's not like he doesn't have power to his punches. So that's the only thing that I have against him when I talk about Chimaev is that he doesn't have power packed in his punches. Like he's really strong, but he doesn't have that power when it comes to the striking and the ground and pound. At least what I recognize and watching the fights. But Dustin, what do you think about this fight? I know it's everybody's been talking about it for a long time, and now we finally have it this Saturday.
This is Cosmo's coming out party. I mean, this is your chance, dude. I mean, this is your shot. This is a hard fight to judge because Gilbert Burns has dynamite in his hands. Like
Yeah.
when it comes from rocking people, like he made Usman, you know, baby deer leg. I mean, he put him out, man. Like he was damn near finished when he hit him with that uppercut. And Gilbert Burns again is a very talented guy on the ground. He's a good wrestler also. Like I said, he's also a shorter limbed dude. And they just have a way with wrestling. I don't know what it is, but he has a way better center of gravity. Cosmo, here's my always think about the difference between Cosmo and a lot of guys is that he has that demon time, man. I put him on my Dustin's demon time list. Because there's fighters that are just fighters, man. Like there's fighters who really go out there and they put on a show. But Kaz, dude, he's there to beat the lights out of you. Like there is no we're here to fight and like it's just a sport. No, Cosmo's one of those dudes, man. He'll dump you on your neck.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does not care. And he's really talented. Just to put it out there, he's a very talented wrestler. And again, he's talented in submissions. He's good on the ground also. He's slick. And his hands are pretty underrated, dude. I've seen him do some ugly stuff with those hands. I've seen him land some strikes that I was wow. Like I've seen him land it was like a perfect right hand when a guy came in and he stoned him.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Russian guy. And he did it in the UFC. He's stoned. He's stoned one of these dudes. Like it's bad. Like when this dude actually puts his hands on you, like he's there to hurt you. Like he ain't there to just get a W.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmo's pretty serious, man. Um, I'm gonna go out. Honestly, I think Cosmo takes this. I think Cosmo's gonna be the 170 champ. Like
Yeah.
I think he's taking the belt. So we'll see though. Gilbert Burns is a tough customer, man. So
Yeah, Gilbert's
well,
tough. Like, it's not gonna be easy to get him unless you wrestle him like all the way and like outstrike him for some reason. I don't know why I can't see that happening, but we'll see what happens during this fight. Probably this is like my main event. This fight is my
yeah,
main
it's for
event for
me.
sure.
Like I
Yeah,
can't wait to see this fight.
for
This fight,
sure.
this card is stacked, completely stacked.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And like this is definitely my main event. The next one is a co-main event. We got finally the bantamweights unifying the title. You got interim champ Peter Yan, and then we also obviously got the actual champ, who unfortunately is Aljamain Sterling. So I say unfortunately because he's been annoying the crap out of us for months until this fight is finally into fruition this Saturday. Finally, we get to shut up all the haters and all the naysayers about Peter Yan because I would say that a lot of people are probably on Peter Yan's side. I don't think many people are saying Aljamain can beat him. I don't think Aljamain can beat him. Peter Yan's just a smarter fighter. He's like all around really great. He's obviously a better striker. He takes his time. A lot of patience with his striking and his attacks and stuff like that. So Dustin, obviously, I think I know who you're probably gonna say is gonna win this fight, but who do you think is gonna win this fight coming up on Saturday?
I mean, I already think that Jan's gonna win. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say Jan's not gonna win, but I'm actually pretty interested in how Sterling does in this fight.
yeah, me too.
Pretty interested. I'm kind of sitting back, and people forget about Aljamain Sterling. He is good. Like he's definitely not a scrub. There's a reason why he's at the spot he's in.
Mm,
Very talented guy. He's good on the ground. He's good with his hands also. But again, Peter Yan was dominating him. Like let's just be honest. It was 3-1. It was 3-1. If he didn't eat him in his face and get DQ'd, he'd have won by decision
yeah,
easily, in my opinion. And Aljamain Sterling, the reason he's annoying is just because he keeps making claims that make no sense, and he just knows that aren't true. If he thought he was winning that fight or if the fight was close, he was weird. Peter Yan
yeah.
was taking that over. I think Aljamain Sterling did good in the first round, and that was it. And Peter Yan took over the rest. So we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. Because Aljamain Sterling, I'm really, really interested to see his energy when he
We'll
gets in
see if
that.
it's the same like Aljamain Sterling from that fight or Aljamain Sterling from the other fights. We'll see about that. So yeah, if it's the same Aljamain Sterling that slept Corey Sandhagen. Now that is the fight that I would love to see, obviously, because I love that energy against Peter Yan. But anyways, we will move on to our main event, which I know that Dustin's not super duper excited about. I'm not super duper excited about. Alec is not super duper excited about this one either. It's the Alexander Volkanovsky featherweight champion versus the Korean Zombie, and yeah, uh, we've talked about this like a number of times about how we're not too excited about this main event. Just Volkanovsky is just so damn good. Like I don't understand. He's like Cejudo. He's like they're both really small. They're both really fast. They both like can. They're really good in the pocket. They're really good at distancing themselves as well and not letting people come in as easily as they can. So I can't see Zombie winning this fight for some reason. I don't know why. Like I just think that Alexander Volkanovsky has the defense on the ground as well, and he can wrestle, and he can strike, and he can do it very well. Obviously, that's why he's the champion, and that's why I think that I don't see a way that Zombie is gonna win this fight. What do you think, Dustin?
This fight is stupid.
Yeah, I know, right?
This fight is stupid. This is like the stupidest main event I've ever seen in my life.
Right?
I've never seen more of a dumb main event. This should have been in the co-main event.
I know.
Yeah, it's me. It should have been in the co-main event.
Hmm.
No one cares about people love Korean Zombie. I don't. I don't see what everybody's so in love with. I don't get it. Um, Korean Zombie he's not better than Volkanovsky at anything. There's not one thing he's better at. He can't wrestle with Volkanovsky. He's not going to strike with Volkanovsky. Like this is a wash. Like if you're a betting person, I'd go ahead and drop a 50 piece on Volkanovsky right now.
Yeah.
Because for me, this is the first time, and like I'm a very like I've watched MMA and boxing for so long. I know that anything can happen. I
Mhm.
know that. I've watched too many fights to think that a fighter's a lock. This is one of like the first times in my life I've seen a title fight, and I was like, "That's a joke." Other than John Jones versus Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Other than that one, because I remember that one, and I was like, "That's a joke." John Jones is gonna trample this dude. It's not even gonna be funny.
Mm.
And then this is the second fight I think I've ever watched, and I was like, "This is a wash." Like Volkanovski is gonna take this. There's no way he loses this fight. There's no way.
Yeah.
The guys he's beaten, the guys he's dominated, the guys he's made fight his fight, like they're better than Korean Zombie. Even those Max Holloway would beat Korean Zombie. Brian Ortega would probably beat Korean Zombie. And I'm just like, no, no. This is probably the first time in a while that I've really looked at a fight and this is done deal. I don't even need to watch it. This is probably the first time in a pay-per-view that like the main event just made me look at it side-eyed. Like I don't even want to see it. But Volkanovski, I mean, I'm glad they're going to pay him for the main event. Probably, I'm glad he's going to get his money. But as a fight in general by the UFC, this was stupid. This was stupid. No one was buying this fight. I think the only reason this fight's that attractive, this card is because of the card, not
Yeah.
because of the main event.
Yeah.
So I'm good on it. I'm good on that fight. That fight's just weird. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Like, to be honest with you, I might just bail after Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm not gonna lie, just because like I'm probably gonna go out to a bar and watch it, and so I'm not gonna be in the comfort of my own home. Unfortunately, just because I don't want to pay for the pay per view, so I just go to a bar and watch it.
So
I
it's a
feel like
lot of
I'm
money.
sorry.
It's a lot of money. $75.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, exactly. And then like going to a bar, you don't spend that much at a bar unless you're like drinking a lot. So I'm probably gonna stay there. Most likely, I'm probably gonna stay until the main event and might go at the main event just because I'm not excited about this fight as well. Like you guys said, really not excited. Alec is probably a little bit busy, but hopefully he can watch the pay per view this weekend. Next week's fight it's not that exciting. You just have Vicente Luque versus Bilal Muhammad, and the people on this card are not that like you don't recognize their names, kind of thing. So hopefully we'll get more headlines and stuff because like this next week card is not going to be a fun one to talk about,
I
unfortunately.
like
But
the
at
I like
least
the main event.
yeah, the main event is the only one that you know about. The rest of the names are like people that you don't really necessarily know, and they're like just put on the card, right? So,
Another prelim fight we should actually talk about is Ian Gary.
oh, that's right. We should talk about that. Okay, let me put that back up. Let's see. Aaron Gary versus Darian Weeks. So it's a really exciting fight because Darian Weeks is like only has one loss to his name, and he's obviously he's good enough to be in the UFC as well. So Ian Gary, like that's one of Dustin's favorite prospects, I would say, coming up that he's like watching and seeing how they perform in the UFC. So Dustin, what do you have like in terms of your assessment on this fight, Darren Weeks versus Ian Gary?
I really can't just wait to see Aaron Gary. So in Connor's come up, I didn't get to
Yeah.
see the come up. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna lie. Like his come up, I wasn't as hip to him as I should have been. You know?
Hmm.
And as an MMA fan, dude, I'm so excited to watch some of these young guys come up, dude. Like Ian Gary, Patty the Pimblett. Like it's a really good sight because these guys. The reason I like Ian Gary is not because everybody says, "Oh, he's just a talented guy." And no, the reason I like him is because he's going to be a fighter that actually promotes and actually makes things exciting, makes MMA fun again. Patty's going to do the same thing. I love fighters like that. Love it. It's the best thing to see. And I really hope these guys make it far because I remember the fun we used to have when Connor was on his run. Like, think about it. How much fun did we have when Connor was on his run? It
Yeah.
was the best. It was the best thing for MMA I've probably ever seen. And literally, I'm getting to watch in real time the rise of another Dublin prospect that's crazy talented. And I also like the way he started in the UFC.
Hmm.
So when he started like how Patty started the last fight,
Yeah.
he actually got pressured and he got hit. Like
Yeah.
he basically got woken up and it was like this is the UFC. And literally he came back and hit this dude. So he's orthodox. So he's the exact opposite of Connor. He hit that dude with a Connor left, but it was the right.
Oh yeah.
He swung it straight down, just straight down the pipe. And it just caught this dude flush and made him dizzy, had him stumbling. And I was sitting back and thinking about it, and I was like, and it was a counter. And I'm just sitting back thinking about it. That's Connor. That's like Connor literally just reinvented.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting over here and I'm laughing, dude, because I'm just like, it's almost like we're just this is a gift. We get to see another young kid that's gonna make noise, just come up in the UFC, just come up. And like I said, I'm pretty jealous. I wasn't too hip to Connor when he was first coming up, when he first came out of Ireland. But now I'm
Yeah.
getting to see it. So now it's Ian Gary's supposed to make it up for me. I'm supposed to see this fighter just climb up to the big stage. And I'm very, very excited about Ian Gary. Very excited. I'm almost more hyped for his fight than some of the main cards like Peter Yan. Like I can't wait to see this guy get in there.
Yeah, when it comes to Ian Gary, Patty, the Pimlet, Patty, like, for some reason, like, he released the numbers that he made that weekend. He made about 12,000 that weekend. I think, to win and to show, he get 12,000, another
That's terrible.
12,000. So that was,
He's on a prove it deal. I mean,
yeah,
he's definitely on a prove it deal. I mean, he hasn't done anything yet, so I understand his pay. They actually asked Patty the Batty if he was going to fight a top 15 guy, and he was like, "Hell no." And he was like, "I'm not fighting no top 15 guy." I was like, "I'm getting another contract before I fight these guys." And how smart is that? Like, if you ask me, how smart is it that these guys are thinking like that now? It's so
finally, yeah,
smart. It's so
yeah.
smart. And I'm just like, thank God we're getting fighters that understand what they could be making, and they won't go put their careers on the line for less money. That's awesome. I hope Ian Gary thinks the same way. He might not because maybe he's a rough guy from Dublin. Maybe he
Yeah, he
just wants
might
to
be
come
like
down.
that, yeah.
But again, I'm loving it. I'm loving the financial awareness that these young guys have now. It's going to change the way the MMA fighters are paid. It's going to change so much. Man, I can't wait. I just can't wait for the future with Sugar Sean and guys like Patty and guys like Ian Gary. Like we're gonna be seeing such a change in the flow of MMA that it's gonna be great, and I'm super super excited.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Like, these guys are what make the sport super. Like, it's like we need a breath of fresh air, and that's who they are basically in this sport. So let's go. Like I said, next week, unfortunately, we don't have that great of a card, but hopefully we get enough headlines to fill it. Hopefully, Alec will be back for us to have all three of us back on the show together, like the old times, like the good times. But for now, what's called? It is the end of the show. It's a little bit. I know it's a little bit earlier, just because we didn't have any. We didn't have any headlines, but we are gonna end the show right here. Dustin, thank you so much for being here. If you did, you have anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up the show?
No, not really, guys. Happy fight week. Tomorrow's gonna be amazing. Um, dude, just enjoy it because this is one of the best cards probably of the year.
That's
So
right.
let's enjoy it while it's in the moment.
That's right. Let's fucking go, right? That's the attitude we're supposed to have, and like we're happy fight week, everybody, and we will see you guys